But our sponsor, she's actually here today. She sponsored lots of events, and she's finally here in person. Is Ms. Barbara Moody. Come on up here. Thank you so much. And are we recording it? Do we start the recording, Kirsten? Yeah? Okay, perfect. Awesome.
Hi, you guys.
Awesome. Well, here you go. You can hold this mic. We're on camera.
Can you guys hear me? Hi. Glad to be here in person. I know, thank you guys so much for being so patient. I know with the whole COVID thing, I had to just, work from home, take care of my son, but I appreciate all of you guys' support. I'm back out there. I'm having fun seeing all my clients again, and got to do this to protect my son. But awesome. All the business you guys are directing to Snap NHD. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. All of you guys know that I've worked with Sophia forever, and I'm proud to be the only NHD company in the office. And I truly appreciate that. I don't take it for granted. I try to participate in everything in the office that you guys have. And I'm just so honored to be your NHD gal. A couple of things about Snap NHD. Don't forget, you guys, we are in the zip forms drop down. So when you guys are doing your RPAs, you can click Snap NHD in the drop down. Please, if you could do one more step for me when you do that, type in my name, Barbara Moody. That way, say if you sell something in Orange County, I'll get credit. Okay, when they open it up, hopefully, if it has to go to a different escrow for whatever reason or whatever, or the other agent happens to open it instead of you guys, they'll see my name on there and they'll be like, okay, I need to give credit to this, their rep. I would greatly appreciate that. Also, because we are in the zip forms drop down, we do have a very strong relationship with CAR, California Association of Realtors. And when the whole fire hardening and defensible space thing came into play, which happened about almost 2 years ago, which you guys are like, oh God, another thing we got to have people fill out. But we were really super excited about it, okay? Because in the NHD world, there's not a lot of changes that happen that often. So we were like so stoked that we could go out there and do educational stuff on the fire hardening. So with that being said, when it happened, CAR came up with this form that the sellers have to fill out for the buyers, right? All of you guys probably know about that. Well, my CEO was super smart, and he said, you know what, I'm going to call CAR. So he called them and he said, can I have licensing rights to your form through you guys to use in our reports if the property is in a high fire or very high fire zone? And they said yes. So we are the only NHD company that has that in our report. So if you don't have to worry that it's going to get forgotten. Okay. You don't have to worry that the other agent might forget to send the attachment on the form. Because otherwise, if you don't work with Snap NHD, you have to go to car.org to download that form to get it. But if you have a property with us, if it's in a high fire, very high fire, and now it's going to be moderate zone, they're changing it up. I don't know why they just don't do it fire zone, period. Because eventually I think that's what they're going to do. But so if it's in any of those zones, it's going to automatically be in that report. Okay. Also, if there is a question on if there should be an inspection on the property, we have a link in there where you go to that link and then you type in the address of the property and it will tell you if it qualifies that it needs to have an inspection. Okay. And if you have any questions regarding the fire hardening defensible space, you have no idea what I'm talking about or completely confused about what you've heard about it, call me. We have done a class before. We can do another one. Let Jay know if you want another class, and I can have Larry, our compliance officer, teach it. It's about 45 minutes. It's everything you ever needed to know about it. And also you can ask him other questions if you have questions about radon or flood zones or anything like that. The other thing real quick is if you guys are ever showing property and the buyer says, I want nothing to do with the flood zone. Okay, then you can call me and you can say, Barb, can you check these properties and see if they're in a flood zone? And I don't have to run a report for you. We have a free flood report. So I can check it. And that way you won't waste your time taking your client to a house that they aren't going to buy because of the flood zone. So that's a good thing that you guys can do and utilize. Okay. So I'm a phone call away. If you guys don't have me on social media, please add me. I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, you name it, I'm on it. Okay. Twitter. I am on Twitter. I know I am on Twitter. I'm an NHD gal. I know, right? So thank you so much. Enjoy Pollo Loco. And my response time when it comes to Texas and stuff like that are pretty quick. Email. Too, by the way. Oh, thank you. I got my bling going. So I'm very honored to be sponsoring Christina's class today. So, you know, that's awesome. And my first time meeting you in a long time. So it's great seeing you. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Okay. Thanks,
Awesome.
Jane.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you for being supportive of our agents and sponsoring lunches, foods, and being a part of this office from the beginning. So thank you so much. All right, guys, let's welcome our guest speaker, Ms. Christina Powers. Come on up here. Give this to you. You can mic yourself up. Okay. You want to be in your space? Well, the other way.
Oh, the other way, as you can see.
Yes.
All right, cool. Did I do it?
There you go.
Ahí está, ahora
There
qué.
you go. And then
All
you
right.
have a seat right here.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. So, you guys, this is gonna be a little bit different, okay? I've done interviews, fireside chats. This is not what this is going to be. So if you guys thought you're gonna sit here and not contribute, it's not gonna happen. So I have some guided questions that I'm gonna ask, so then we can be collaborative. It's gonna help you guys at this market. How many of you guys have noticed it's getting kind of weird right now? Right? It's getting kind of weird. It's like we're heading in a shift, but not necessarily in a shift yet. Right? So I'm gonna start off with just having Christina introduce herself. What was your production last year?
Oh, my goodness. What was my production? Do I just talk like how much money I made or?
Yeah. How
Yeah,
much money did you
okay.
make last year?
I made around 300 and something thousand.
So you made over 300K last year,
Yes.
and you're a solo agent?
Yes.
That's all we hear.
That's what I can buy. Yeah.
So have you always been in real estate? Where'd you come from? What's your background?
My background definitely has not always been real estate. I used to be a bartender and I used to work for the school district because, you know, I had little kids back then and I wanted their schedule. And then somebody said to me, you need to get into real estate. And I'm like, for what? You know, but eventually I got into real estate back in the end of 2007.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
So I've been around for 15 years.
Wow, that's impressive. So bartending, that's some good tips though, right? Did that help you with your sphere at all when you first started?
No, not at all.
No?
No, I moved from a different city and I
Okay.
started with not knowing anybody
Okay.
and no one knew me.
So where'd you grow up? Like, where are you from?
I grew up in San Bernardino County, in Banning, in areas where there's not a lot of people.
And what did you, so you grew up there,
Mhm.
you had family there, and then you.
Ended up
bartending.
moving to Wildomar
Oh, so you ended up moving out here.
in my
and
30s.
And not knowing anyone.
Not knowing nobody.
And you just got your real estate license. And what did you do your first year?
My first year, I didn't sell a single thing. Mhm.
And what did you do to not give up in that first year?
I started looking at other realtors that were successful, and this is follow the successful realtors. So I started hanging around with realtors that had a lot of knowledge, like Jose Gomez. Yes, very knowledgeable. And he taught me a lot of tricks that till this day, they do help me because just because you think you don't know, you shouldn't be afraid to venture into the unknown because things will come together all on their own as you notice. And so that's something that I learned from Jose, yeah, definitely. And
one thing I know about you being around Sophia too is that you've always gone to classes, trainings. You're always trying to better yourself too. And
correct,
Mastermind, right?
all the time. And I'm always looking into motivational videos because, you know, with life, sometimes you have your ups and downs and you wake up in the morning and you're thinking, what am I doing? How am I going to get this done? And I brainwash myself all the time. It's not a joke. I listen to Abraham Hicks on YouTube, and right, isn't she amazing? She cracks me up and she tells you like it is and she smacks you right in. So I'm in bed going like, you know, like I'm just human, just like everybody else. And I go through those moments and I listen to those motivational speakers, and I open the door and I go, you know, and I'm ready for the world. I'm ready for the challenges. And so I come from not having a lot of money, having to struggle on my own as a single parent. And when the market crashed and didn't know where things were headed, but I stood by it. I got self-motivated and I took classes, and then I became, you know, a top agent year after year after year by keeping a mindset, which is important.
Mindset's everything, right?
It's everything, guys.
So what shifted from your first year to your second year? When did you get your first transaction?
Oh my God. What shifted from my first year to my second year? I went to an open house and I followed a particular agent that back then, I was 37, but this one agent, he was
Wait, you're
22.
37 back then?
Back then, not back
Wait.
many, many years ago. I said I've been in real estate for 15 years. So this young kid was killing it. And I'm like, I looked at him, he was a goofball, right? I'm like, how is this kid better than me? Like, there's no way.
Real question though.
It is. And I asked, could I please do an open house with you? And he looked at me, so I begged him and followed him for a whole month. And eventually he said yes. And he had a formula. And this formula was fantastic because one open house is all I did with him. And I observed his formula. And I said, I can do that with my personality. He's a hunter, I'm a hunter. I'm hungry, my kids are hungry, I gotta pay bills, I'm going out there. It was make it or make it. There was no in-betweens for me. So
Make it or make it.
make it or make it. There was and you know what? There's no plan B. I didn't have a plan B because I had to put all my energy into plan A. Because plan B meant that I was failing already in my mind with plan A. So again, mindset.
I'm glad you said that because he always brings it up, ROP, and how many times we always say no plan B, right?
No plan B. Forget about plan
You wake up every morning as if you have nothing.
Yes.
Where'd you get your first deal from? Was it an open house?
It was from an open house, absolutely. Because I learned the secret. At that time, it's a different market. You guys have to understand that in 15 years in real estate, the market has shifted multiple times and I've seen it all. And now look at this.
Yeah.
So, and you're right, when you mention that agents, seasoned agents, we know when the market is shifting before anybody else knows. I remember in 2012, this was really interesting because I was driving. I remember exactly, I was going for a listing appointment. And as I'm driving on Marietta Hot Springs by the gas station over there by Sam's Club, I got a phone call from a mega agent at that time. And she was begging me, Barbara Walker. And she was begging me for my listing. But she even said one thing that made me pull off the road on the side on a heavy traffic road. Who pulls up? I was like, oh my God, the market is shifting. Because you know who just called me and she's begging me for my little listing? That's a listing agent that sells in the millions. I'm nothing compared to her. And she's over here trying to, smoosh up to me. And I realized that it was going to be a seller's market and I was just a buyer's market. And I felt that. So that in that moment, I said, I'm going door knocking, looking for listings in that moment. And I became top agent. How did I get my first client? Open houses. What was the formula? You would ask. It was simple. This young 22-year-old guy was a goofball at the open house, but he brought his best friend. They were both high school drop-offs. And they were talking some things that were not appropriate. I'm going like, how is this guy a top agent? But the moment one buyer, a couple walked in, he switched to this beast that I had never seen before. I always thought he was a clown, but I saw something different. And I was like, what? He knew every single listing, pending, active, everything. He knew every single HOA. He knew everything that you need to know about the area. He had already previewed everything. He knew his market really, really well. And he was very impressive. And his buddy, his little goofball buddy, he was the lender. And they both attacked. And the people, the couple, he showed them the house, he walked with them, and he was actually getting information from them. By the time he came down, he already knew that this wasn't their house for them, and he took them and asked me, could I stay at the open house with the lender while he was going to show them the house that he believed after he listened to them because he knew his homework. He took them to go see this property. When he came back, they were ready to write an offer. I was blown away, and they trusted his lender to get qualified. And they opened escrow. And then he asked me, do you want to split this 50-50 because you were here? And I'm like, no, I'm okay. I was taking it all in. And then he goes, are you ready for another open house? And I go, no. And in my mind, I'm gonna kick your butt in real estate next year. That's what's going to happen. And that's exactly what I did. And you can ask Jose, out of nowhere, I came from the left field, being top agent, feeding my kids, being able to take them and send them to college. And I've learned so much from it because I do not do anything without being prepared for my open houses or to meet with my buyers. With my buyers, I also make sure that I know the value of the properties and the value of everything so that we have a strategy how to compete, because you've been competing and your offers have been getting rejected. So I learned how to become a beast.
That's amazing. And you did that, and you did this all, you didn't give up.
No.
The first year, you didn't sell anything. Most people give up within the first year. You
Yeah.
know that, right? With the statistics.
No, the statistics were horrible, especially back then because the market had gone down. I didn't have a second income. I didn't have any supplemental income. And apparently I didn't even qualify for a assistant program because prior to that, I was married with someone with a lot of money, so it just, I had no choice. And the way I looked at it was that every day I would wake up to Bob Proctor and believe in The Secret. And Bob Proctor, I started from The Secret. You gotta believe, I used to go out for a run behind my house, and on my way down, I would do all my mantras and hit myself on the chest and go, I'm the king of the hill. That's my listing. That's my listing. That's my listing. And eventually they became my
I
listings.
like the energy in here.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
Well, that's good. So Bob Proctor is one of the very first, he actually mentored, if I'm not mistaken, what's his name? He does like all the, it's his big dude. He went to his seminar.
Tony Robbins. Oh, I go to Tony Robbins just to go get his. Have you guys ever been in his presence? Just to know that he's going to come on stage and everybody's jumping. I'm jumping too excited. Just at this guy, and then his energy. Oh my God, he's gorgeous from the inside. I'm going like, wow, this guy just is radiant. He just transmits that, and he knows what he's talking about, and he's telling you, and I think it's beautiful. And if you ever get a chance, it's worth your money. I am going to be honest with you. He does the program where you go there for the whole weekend. I'm that person that'll go with you one time and I pick up everything. So I go one day and I learn from him some of the best things on how to see myself, and he humbles you. He has this practice where he tells you to start making your biggest, best noise, and then he gives a specific sound to do. And so the whole room is full of thousands of people. This is in LA at the convention center, right? And I'm over here thinking my sound is going to be special. Everybody's going to hear my sound because I'm full of energy. We all sounded identical. And then I felt this little, right? Like, oh, I'm not special. I thought Bob Proctor told me I was special. So you go through all this stuff. So you have to go and mentor yourself and look for mentors that will teach you different dynamics of who you are, different dimensions of who you are, and learn to become the best of you and never stop growing. Because in real estate, it's always shifting, and it takes a strong person to continue to make it through the years and never to give up on yourself, because you are special. Once you go through that program, you do understand, even though you make the same sound, you're just human.
That mic drop. All right, drop your mic, let's go out.
Okay, let's do it.
That's some good info right there. And you have, but it's funny you speak about energy because you have the same one. Like
Yeah.
you command the room, you're speaking right now.
Oh,
everybody's
thank
looking,
you.
right, paying attention.
Thank you.
So that's like a difficult thing to have, but I sense from you, one thing I've met you multiple times,
Yes.
we've hung out.
Yeah.
You definitely have practiced a lot of self-love.
Yes. Rule number one, love yourself, because if you don't have a bank full of self-love, you can't give it. Let's be honest. And it happens to everybody. Mhm.
That's beautiful. So I'm going to dig into one more time to a couple more questions, and then we'll get into the mastermind questions.
Okay.
Right? But thank
Yeah.
you so much.
You're welcome.
You're like a really trusted person.
Thank you.
So we say you became a top agent. How much did you end up selling your second year or your third year? Like, did it gradual increase?
It was
double?
yes, gradual. Okay, this is gonna sound weird, really weird, and it is, and it is really weird. And you can say, "Don't ever invite that crazy woman back in this office. She's crazy."
Like real authentic.
Okay, so when I first started with Bob Proctor, they says put a number, right? Put a number on the board, put it somewhere where that's the number that you want to hit to make that dollar amount. And because I come from a very humble background, very poor, people that didn't even think about the future. We just have to go to work and just make ends meet. That is my background. No one said go to school and become better. So this mind shift was a game like, how do I do this? So for the first year that I didn't sell anything, I kept saying that I was going to make $5,000 a month, every month, no matter what. God loves me. God is with me. God is my father. And he gives me everything. So I spoke as if it already existed. And that was my mantra on the way down to the hill. Just $5,000 because I was scared to make money, and I just needed 5,000 in that moment at that time back in 2007 to survive and to feed my kid. I did the math and I go, 5,000 is good, like this is perfect. And so I would do this. And then the next year I did the numbers and I made like $50,000, 55,000. If you divide that by 12, well, I guess I freaking asked for only 5,000. And then I'm like, ooh, I wonder if I should ask for more. Oh, so I asked for more. Well, and then, okay, so let me put it to you. What I asked for last year, I asked to make $25,000 a month, every month, no matter what, because God is my father. He loves me and all this crazy stuff. Well, do the numbers, what I told you I did. That's what it is. So be careful what you ask for. You have to believe it. And some of the things that will prepare you to make that kind of money, this is a really simple formula that I learned from Bob Proctor and all these amazing other mentors, is that in one space, there could only be belief and not doubt. The moment you let doubt, then you're going to say to yourself, see, this stuff that Christina was talking was baloney. It doesn't work. But you're bringing in a bad element. We are energy and our thoughts matter. And the only thing that we really have to our power is our thoughts. And that's one thing that everybody's trying to control us, right? Take away our power. Those are just thoughts and those are just your imagination. But your imagination creates your life and you are a creator. So get out there, create your life, make as much money as you want. Don't be like me. Don't be shy. Don't ask for 5,000 because you deserve it. So preparation, be knowledgeable, and have experience. Take these classes, surround yourself with amazing people like you guys, like Sophia and Jay, and look out for experts and just go out there and get it, because you already have what I have. You don't lack anything. So that is my recommendation.
Wow, this is powerful.
Thank you.
Wow. You're amazing. You already know that. That's what I want to hear. So even every time I talk to you, yes? Well, it's not gonna be a question. This is gonna be a mastermind, and I have guided questions to this.
Yeah, I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
Yeah.
You guys are, that's what she's one of my girlfriends. She's really excited. So every time I leave her, I come away with all the beauty tips.
Oh, yeah. Oh yes. Okay, because I'm gonna set up the.
Fast and drinking green juices, it's all good.
Yes.
Yeah, but before, does anybody have any questions for her? Before we get to the mastermind, does anybody have any questions for her?
I thought you had a question.
Non-real estate, because I have real estate questions, right?
Yes, I want to know like what's next for you. Like
what you go for this year?
In the next year.
So I've been wanting, and I've started to venture into commercial real estate because I see myself in the next 5 years going full-blown commercial. And so the opportunities like this is, be careful what you ask for, because people have been approaching me and business owners and saying, Christina, can you find me this location? And I'm like, God, I know nothing about commercial real estate, but I said yes. So I started doing it. I opened my first commercial real estate transaction a couple weeks ago. So 1 million. And it's just vacant land. Oh, no, it's only 1 million, but it's just vacant land for commercial in a very difficult market. On Newport Road. And whoever you come across, you make friends, connections. This is my dentist who's wanting to open up his own, building and lease out the others so they can pay for itself. And I managed to find him something, because you have to network. It is important to network with each other, because somebody will say, in fact, this deal was not offered to me. It was just a buddy of mine who's talking about, like, this fell out of escrow and it's going to go away and the seller's going to take the land out of the market. And I'm like, whoa, wait, Mauricio, talk to me. give me that. I need it. And so we opened escrow. And the next level is going to be the process of building it, getting all the permits. So I'm going to learn from scratch how to do all this stuff and how to lease. So I want to become the expert. So this is my next.
So you're not afraid to get uncomfortable. That's what I'm hearing.
No,
you
it's
say.
extremely
It's
uncomfortable.
a pattern that you're set from the beginning.
Yes.
Residential, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
jumped into the unknown and
Yes.
absorbed everything and just did it.
I want to jump into the unknown and I want to do more of this. I want to give more back. This is what I want to get into myself as a side thing. And Sophia and I, we talked about it.
And before I get into the mastermind, let me ask you, what are 3 things that you wish you would have done different, or 3 mistakes that you would advise steering away from?
There's no such thing as a mistake when it comes to real estate because you learn from everything. And if, yes, the more mistakes you make, the closer
better.
you are to success.
So
do not put yourself down for any reason, and don't let anybody doubt you. Don't let anybody like, well, who did you sell today? You know, you go home, what did you sell today? It's like, don't worry about it. I got this, you know? So.
I just,
Yeah.
you're amazing. Wow. Well, does anyone have any more personal questions before we leave the mastermind that we're going to get into, like the market and how she's overcoming everything? Yeah, go ahead, please.
Was there ever a time where you had even just a little bit of doubt? Because the whole time you're talking about how you're cheering yourself on the
Always. There's always a doubt. There's always a doubt. If I said that I didn't, I wouldn't be human like you. Of course. Remember, I told you, I pump myself up. I brainwash myself before I walk out the door. I practice some of the craziest things, which is like, I open up the window in the front door and I go, I smell money. Before I walk out. So I do that to myself. Let's be real. We walk out the door. We don't know who's going to be our next step. Who's going to do business with? I don't know. It does. So smell the money, baby.
Smell the money, baby.
That's right. That's a new term. Smell the money, baby. Where's the money? Show me the money. Okay.
That's awesome. That's a great question.
Thank you.
Any other question? And this is Tony. Introduce yourself and ask a question so we can know who you are. Any other question, you guys, about her personally?
My name's Sebastian. I was just wondering, because you started off with the open house.
Mhm.
So I was wondering, you just talked about the formula, but never gave it away.
I kind of
She
gave it away. Kind of, yes. No, nothing out of this world, but it does work. You do have to be there prepared. You have to know everything about your surrounding, and you have to know everything about other areas, because believe it or not, most people that will come into your open house, they're not going to buy that house. They might be looking into other cities, other options. They might not even be looking for the 1-story or the 2-story. They might not be looking for the house that has the pool. They might be looking for an area. They just happen to walk into your open house because they saw the signs. Your job is to hunt, okay? And you are prepared, knowledgeable about all your surrounding cities, the products, because remember, this is like Walmart. This is a big place, Amazon. And you have the right to walk in and preview any home and sell anybody's listing. I mean, you have a lot of money at your disposition. Remember, you open the window, you smell the money. It's right there. You go do an open house, they're walking to you. You have 5 minutes to get their attention. And if you have a lender with you that you trust and is there to work hard with you, even better, because now you can leave that lender there and go show them the house that you believe will match their dreams. So that was the secret that I learned from this guy. He was prepared all the way around to attack. That day, he got a deal. And I mimic exactly what he did. I did it myself. I took a lender, and I'm not going to no open house by myself, because guess what? I'm new and I had not done a deal, but I am here to hunt. And so it happened. My first alone open house that I did, and I mimicked this guy, the formula worked. Yes, it did. And not only that, I sold them that house, but they also had me list their house. I brainwashed them that I was the best in the world. And I have been doing this forever, right? Because the company at that time was only 81 years old. So I feel like I'm an 81-year-old expert I use the
Use-
companies.
Use
Yeah.
the company staff.
Yes, yes, use it.
Sorry,
Fake it till you make it.
Like
I
that.
faked it so much that I made it. And I took that list. I took, I was as fake as they come. And I took their listing in Mission Viejo. And I sold that listing for $1 million back then.
$1 million back then is equivalent to 3.5 now.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
yeah,
Well, yeah.
yeah, back
Maybe
then.
you're at this market too.
Yeah. So that was
That's
amazing.
incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
You're
Man,
welcome.
this is some good
My pleasure.
questions. Don't worry, guys. It's gonna be like a mastermind discussion. So the first thing, the first topic I want to really talk about, and hope everybody participates, is the mastermind question is to convert sellers. So the first question I'm going to ask is, how many sellers, and just for all of you, I'm not just asking her, I don't want you guys to think about this, is how many sellers are currently in your pipeline right now that you're actively trying to convert? Can anyone think of a number?
Actively converting, 3.
3. There you go. How about you?
10.
How about you? It's okay. Not yet.
Mm.
But you know your number. You know it? 5 or 7. As I go around the room, let's see, Sophia? 13. Jose?
5.
Miguel? 5. Claudia? That's good. You guys know your numbers. Does anyone not know their number? That's okay. Unless they're in particular, it's a general thing. Right? Okay. Let me start your pipeline right now. They're trying to convert. All right. Number 2, with those sellers, how are you handling the objection related to lack of urgency? Because they're in your pipeline, you're trying to convert them. So how are you handling their lack of urgency with this market that's changing? I'm gonna let Christina lead this.
I'm always selling the bigger and better deal. You are not happy with the house you have, right? I mean, look at TikTok. Look at all those gorgeous houses. Would you like to have one of those? I can help you. This house is lacking, And so I start going there because I'm a salesperson. Let's face that's the truth. And when you have one deal and one listing, you have 2. They need to go somewhere. And if they're ditching the state of California, that's okay. Learn to make money from giving referrals. Last year alone, I made 20 grand on referrals out of state. Make extra money. Yeah, it's all about the money, honey. Yeah. So I was like, where are you going? South Carolina. I know people over there. And I start going to Google and I start calling and I try to find someone that matches my energy. And I interview them, and then I go, can you give me this much money? And they say yes, and then we send the paperwork, and then I give them the referral, and I tell them, guess what? I hooked you up. I got the best. I have my buddy over there in South Carolina, and they're gonna hook you up and take care of you, and they have. And I'm just waiting for another check this month too.
Ooh.
So yeah,
All right.
definitely. So that's how I encourage them to sell their house. I try to make them see, because everybody always wants something better. Like girls, we want a new pair of shoes, right? So it's easy to sell shoes.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna leave this open. How are you guys handling the lack of urgency for the sales side? What are some good objection handlers that you guys have learned, or what are you currently using? This is for us to learn. There's no wrong answer, guys. Like, this is just for us to collaborate, mastermind. Does anyone have any, how are you overcoming? You got 2 listings, 3. So how did you overcome this lack of urgency? What did you say?
It's more just addressing the elephant in the room, raising interest rates.
Yes.
You gotta go with it and kind of be the professional, let them know it's kind of an hour and everything in a sense, and not lying because that you're hearing everything. If you really paying attention, then you can advise. So yeah, I think just addressing that really quick, and that's the conversation.
Thank you. Thank you. Aurora?
Always go back to their motivation, like why did they bring it up in the first place? But right now, what we're really doing is, we'll tell them, we have other listings, I'm gonna let you know the activity on those, so that you can kind of see what's going on in the market. So, for example, some of our listings, we're only getting 1 or 2 offers now, and compared to 10, 15 just a few months ago, so that's starting to get people, it freaks them out a little bit, but it gets them to move.
Do you guys hear that? Those of you with lots of buyers? What are you noticing? It's a great map, right? Something's happening in the market, right? She said 22 options. Don't give up, build the relationships back up. How about you, Miguel? How are you overcoming the lack of urgency of people not wanting to sell and expecting the prices of 90 days ago?
Usually I tell them that interest rates are not gonna go down because the way the government fights inflation is by raising the rates. So because inflation doesn't go away just like that, the chances of the interest rates going higher, a lot higher than interest rates actually go forward.
So the rise of inflation, right? Are you learning a lot from each other? What about you? Make sure you guys talk loud enough so everybody can hear you too.
The same as Aurora.
That's good.
I talk about their motivation for selling is number one. And then I look at what's going on in their market and I tell them like, hey, one just on the street, 2 blocks down, just sold for this. This is how many offers the agent had. And I do that work too. I call the agents like, hey, how many offers did you get? How many were asking? How many were cash? And I give them all that information. So I find out the main reason why they want to sell. And then I give them enough information like, hey, they're still going above asking, but it's not going to be for so long because there's less buyers and less buyers because of the interest rates.
What is a common thing that we hear?
Interest rates.
Rising, right?
The economy is changing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like give anybody hope or anybody
I'm
make
saying,
anyone
there's money out
nervous?
there. I don't see any Rolls Royce dealerships going under. I don't see the Lamborghini dealerships going under. So there's always money. There's always buyers.
I had a buyer come in and he
Isn't
was
that-
saying that they were, we had an open house with like 90-something people come in 3 days. And, one of the guys comes in, he's like, oh, there's no money, like, the economy, there's no money. And I'm like, I already have cash offers in hand, like, what do you mean there's no money?
Yeah.
You know, and
There's money out of nowhere.
yeah, we got 6
Yeah.
cash offers. I'm like, what do you mean there's no money? Like,
Mhm.
like all I see is money. And
Yeah.
I'm like, like, it's not changing, it's not going down, there's always gonna be money, but we just have to be on the hunt for it.
Thank you.
And you have to know your clients. Like, for example, you have to know how they learn. So if you do the math, if buying $500,000 home at 3.75 interest rate compared to 5%, it's a $500 difference. So you just have to break the math for them and say, look, like you're afraid of the rates, but if you boil the math down, it's a $500 difference. However, home prices have stagnated. So that if you look at the difference, the payment, the home that was $500, now you get it for $475, it's like similar payment. So you have to just break that barrier and understand, like, you're afraid of paying a mortgage, but you're paying someone else's mortgage. You're still paying the mortgage, paying someone else's
No matter
mortgage.
what.
So that for the seller, they don't want to sell because the big objection I have, and every client's, I have a special one. Iris knows, but there's a special one, she's helping me serve that one, but the point is that they're afraid because they're selling. And yesterday, Miguel heard me talking to a seller, and I was honest. I was like, look, you absolutely are late to the market. You should listen 90 days ago. That's the bottom line. But we can't change the past. So where do we go from here? Either you can dwell on that, or we can make a plan going forward. So help them understand, and then and pay really close attention to your seller, because this seller, who heard me on the phone, she said, you know what? I'm gonna decide if I'm gonna sell or not. I'm gonna think about it and this and that. And I'm like, okay. But then she's like, I have to sell, I'm going through a divorce, I have no money, I'm struggling, my kids in college. So is she motivated or not?
She is.
So then after that, and I go tell you, I was just like, okay, so I need you to do this homework for me. I need you to call the HOA, figure out the payment. Like, I'm assuming the sale. I'm like, you're gonna list, like, it's happening and we're doing this already. So understand that people are afraid, and when they're afraid, this is when you show up as a professional. Because if you go to a doctor and you tell them, I'm afraid to do this, and the doctor's like, well, I don't know what you should do, would you trust that doctor?
No.
You know what I mean? Like, then you can't be scared with it. Become confident and say, hey, no doubt the market's correcting itself as it should. Homes were unattainable. The price increase that we experienced, 28% in the nation, wasn't realistic. It's not scalable. So it's gonna correct itself, but it's always a good time to buy. It's still the best, safest investment in the nation. So know your clients and have these straightforward, confident conversations with them. Remember, if you're scared, they're scared. And they're not gonna trust you.
Thank you. So that's for the sell side, and we'll get into the buyer stuff. So with all of this collectively, it leads me into my next question. So what is one piece of local data that we can start showing them to educate them and move quickly? It's Mastermind. What is one thing we can start showing them with local data?
How many homes are on the market, how fast they're selling.
Where can we get that from? Where can, so we can leave today, what's one thing we can offer now?
MLS, the hot sheets.
Hot sheets.
Yeah.
Any other ideas?
Altos Research also provides that information. It's a website you can go to. You can put in your city, you can do the median price for condos, for homes.
What's it called?
Altos, ATLOS.
Oh, yeah.
Have some
Oh,
reports.
Yeah. I can pay for those, like $25 per listing.
I get them for free, so.
Yeah,
Free.
The best thing you should print out right now is go back to Gary Keller's,
The slides from
the
family
slides from family
reunion.
reunion.
Miguel
There's
shared it
only
with
one
us.
slide that you literally have to have on your phone, like even on your screen, on your phone. It's the one that talks about the historical mortgage rates, so they've been keeping track since 1972. The rate, it'll show you that the average across the board is 8.4 from when they started keeping track in 1972. 8.4 has been, if you average everything. So when you show that visually to your clients, you're like, look, you're fair, the rates, look, this is the average, we're still way below average. So that slide, everyone should have it. You guys want us to have it emailed to you? You guys can
We
have
don't
one
have
just to make it easier.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll send it,
Yeah.
please show
So-
that to everyone, when you have a real conversation.
For sellers too, like that's important. So it's not just for buyers to show that to, it's for your sellers need to move somewhere. They're scared too. Think about that. They're not just seeing things from one, and they're also thinking about, well, shoot, now I have to become the buyer and go into that market. So,
And to get them to price correctly, we're really gonna focus on that the next month here. We're gonna be having those conversations in our meetings, is because those of you that have been in the industry for less than, since Christina and I have experienced it, most of you have been in the game. Some of Jonathan's been around, some of you have been around, but some of the newer agents, you guys have only experienced a rising market. So you have not experienced a price correction market and how to price homes. And that's when you see that the agents that don't have the skills are, right now, like I'm excited about the market that's coming, you know what I mean? Because it's like, right now it's when skills this is where you need skills. Before you can get you can get a new agent in a home that's priced well, will sell. The most experienced agent with a home that's overpriced will not sell it. Understand that? So no one has an advantage over you, it's an even playing field. So what we're gonna be talking about pricing homes correctly, and I help clients understand, like, listen, your price is not realistic. With the rates the way they are, the buyer for your home, I told her yesterday, Miguel heard me, I said, you're telling me you cannot afford $3,700 payments to your selling. If I do the math, you bought at $650 in, Mission Viejo, you have HOA, whatever, the rate is whatever. I said, now the buyer that's gonna buy your same property, the payment's close to $7,000 a month. Because now it's worth $950.
sure.
Okay, so I'm like, you understand that you cannot price it, it has to be affordable to the people. When you break the things down from a place of confidence and you show them, people are logical, they will understand.
Mhm.
Remember, logic makes people think and emotion makes them act. So you just logically explain it to them and just tell them, look, like, at the end of the day, you need to get out of the situation so you could afford so you can go through your divorce and please afford the college tuition.
Good, we're skipping that one. Yeah, done.
You guys know I'm always here for you, you guys can always call me to role play and always, you guys know that, so.
Also,
I have one tip,
yeah.
if it's my last tip.
No, you're
If
gonna
anything.
keep-
Then I'm gonna save it for later. No, you guys have to remember, no matter what happens, life drives real estate. Remember that, no matter what happens. So never be afraid of what's to come, because there's people gonna get married, there's people gonna get divorced, there's people that are having children, there's people that are losing their loved ones, and there's people that are getting promoted, and there's people that are getting demoted. And there's always reasons why you're going to stay in business forever until you say, I'm done. I actually saw one realtor retired and she broke my heart, but that's another story. Yeah, because she was doing it forever.
I have a question that piggybacking on that.
Sure.
That's what I tell people.
Yeah.
What I said to my sphere is,
Yes.
I've never had anybody say to me, oh my God, the interest rate is 2%, I'm gonna uproot my family and move. Like,
Mhm.
no matter what.
No matter what, they have to.
It has to take your
No
money
matter
where
what,
you
yeah.
are now.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have to move and the interest rate is 8%, you still have to move.
You have to eat, you have to sleep, you know, so.
Like I have my hot buyer list, we have like 60 buyers on there that they were not buying it when it was 2%.
Yeah.
So now they're like really motivated, I'm like, all of a sudden,
Yeah.
all of a sudden they have 50, all of a sudden they're buying at 6%.
That's
So
true.
it makes no sense, I just tell them, okay, you're paying 1,000 more because of your price
Mhm.
point, but now they're buying anyways. Because now they have to.
Because you have to.
Yes, you have to. And another thing, how you speak to your clients is very important. The words that you use, remember, words have power and you're in sales. So you have to be a craftsmanship in words when you go to them, and you have to tell them things like, you know, when they're on the fence and thinking and they're scared, and you show them that you're the expert, and you use words as like, let me show you the road to home ownership, because I know the road. This is what I do for a living. I eat and breathe real estate. So I'll just hold you by the hand, and I will not leave you alone until I hand you the keys or I sell your house. And then you won't see me until you give me another referral. I'll disappear, you know, but you make them feel very comfortable how knowledgeable you are. So choose particular words to speak to them.
Yes.
That's amazing. But show of hands, who has buyers right now that are on the fence? Show of hands.
Yeah.
Right? So, in simple terms, how have you guys been explaining? I know we kind of touched on this, but I'm gonna keep repeating this, right? Keep repeating this. How are you explaining to them the interest rates, and how are you telling them what's expected to happen over the next couple of years? Does anyone know?
I explained it, it's only going up.
Okay.
It's unlikely that you ever see a 2.2, 2.3, 2.5, at least in the next 10 years or so.
Something going up?
Not only that, I mean, you could just always just tell them like, those lines is refi. So, it's fine.
Because it does happen,
Yeah.
and it will happen.
You're in a position to, you know, pull the trigger now, so. Worst case scenario, it goes down. You just refi later, but it's how you present it. It's
Mhm.
Anyone else? What time?
It's a teeter totter effect. Rates are high, homes are low, homes are low, rates are, like, if you guys have to boil down to breaking down the payment for them. Like, I really highly recommend that you guys download the.
Yeah, that's exactly golden.
Mhm, yeah.
You know, download the real estate calculator app.
Smart.
And teach yourself
Yes.
how to
Yes.
really just calculate a payment. I know you're not a lender, and I tell them, I'm not a lender anymore, but you can calculate a payment. I tell them, what are you waiting for? For home prices to go down 10,000, so your payment will go down 50 cents. Like,
Really?
you're waiting for that. In the meantime, you're gonna keep renting. Like, break it down and again.
Say it again so people can write it down.
Yeah, it's like
That's like, wait, can you say it again? Like, you're waiting for what? You're waiting for.
For a $10,000 drop?
So you have to understand that one of the main things that I want people to walk away from here today is that the consumers don't do this for a living. Okay, they don't do this for a living. We experience a real estate transaction every day. They experience it every 10 years. It used to be every 7, and now statistics show that people move every 10 years. So this is not something that they're not awareness of that. It's like, it's the RAS is not a, remember that your reticular activated part of your brain. Like, remember when you bought a white car, all of a sudden you saw white cars everywhere? Or the car you bought, because your brain was attuned to that. Remember, real estate becomes attuned to them only when they're doing the transaction. So you have to explain to them, and for you to really understand, the people that are, all they heard was their parents complain that they lost the house before, and they're afraid of that. And you have to understand, that you have to explain to them, the mortgage crash of 2007, 2008 will never happen again. That was due to mortgage fraud. Yeah. You understand? That was due to mortgage fraud. So the people are waiting for homes to crash 100,000 down. Trust me, I'm
It's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen. So you have to tell them, okay, let's say the market corrects itself 5%. What is that? So the home that you bought for 600 is now 625. But the rates went up, so what's the payment difference? Like, explain that to them and understand that they're waiting for a market crash. That's not going to happen. And like Christina said, people are gonna move no matter what.
This is how I explain it, and this is how I knock it out of the park for them. The moment Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae have raised the value of the prices in the Inland Empire, which is the most affordable location to live in Southern California. There's nothing else like it. That is why everybody comes here. The moment they decided that, you know, the FHA buyers are going to qualify for the mid 500s, and that the conventional buyers are going to qualify for the mid 600s, they never retrograde. It stays there. So keep that in mind. Those are going to be your regular prices. You want to sell your house for $1 million, but I can't get it for you because it's not reasonable. The way it's going to correct itself is that it's going to stay within the Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae guidelines. Boom, leave it at that.
Yeah, it's 100% because it's 100% because there's loan limits for a reason. There's loan limits for a reason, and that makes
That's to control.
Yeah, that's to control it, because if they make home purchases affordable. And before we go today, I'm gonna tell you guys about our new secret loan program that we found out, that I told some of you, because that's gonna help all of you put a jewel in your pocket. I promise you that. when I tell you, I'll tell you because I want Christina to learn about this too.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, we have a hookup around here.
You have a hookup?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's something that doesn't make it so, when you guys are ready to talk about that, do not leave without the information. Claudia Soto knows about it too, so, but it's gonna be really good, because I promise it'll just add, at least a couple 50,000 in your pocket this year, really good.
She posted about it before too on the
Yeah.
Facebook page.
Yeah.
All right, guys, speaking of which, so Sophia said earlier that, logic makes people think and emotion makes people act. What is logic in this case? What do we keep talking about real estate? What's logic? It's data, right?
Mhm.
So how do you guys become a data expert to achieve your goals? What is one thing you can do daily when you wake up and don't have clients to help you become a data expert? Just throw out there. What could you do?
Go on car.
Research.
Go on where? Car.
I like
What's
CR,
articles?
that's how I educated myself in that way. I had no knowledge, no experience when on CR.org.
Watch CNN.
No.
Wall Street every morning.
You guys pay your MLS dues, you pay your CR dues. These people are, you have to understand this, there's 1.2 million realtors in the nation, but that are licensed, some people are licensed, but there's only 600,000 are members of CR. So there's a difference between being a realtor member and being a CAR member. For example, as a CAR member, of NAR member, you took an oath to follow the NAR code of ethics. I was just talking about this earlier, where you have like for example, certain rules that you promise. For example, if you're showing a property and the seller is present, okay, and you're there with your clients and the seller, and you ask the seller, oh, are you gonna leave the refrigerator? Oh, are you gonna pay for the termite? You guys know that's a violation of agency. You're not allowed to talk to someone's client. You have to go through their agent. That is, you guys have to know that, because you think it's a simple question, but that is a violation. Let me tell you, my very first deal with my love was with Diane West. Diane West is the professional standards director for National Station of Realtors in Tigar. This lady has no job all day to enforce rules. And I
Okay.
got an escrow with her. She pitched it. She pitched a deal. She pitched a deal, and I showed my very first house. I told her I have a buyer for it. I went into Moreno Valley, and I went and I asked her, oh, I see the clients go, well, we're not gonna buy it because it looks like it has termites. So I said, oh, have you had your house inspected for termite? She made me cry twice. I thought of getting out of real estate. She really she reported me to the board. I had to go through a class. It went on my permanent record, which meant I couldn't become a director for 2 years. For violating agency, she reported me my very first deal ever. Real estate.
Wow.
And I had to watch an ethics video. I had to watch an ethics video at the board. I was so devastated because I felt like I didn't have I'm a straight A student, I've never been to principal's office. Like I was in trouble just making a mistake. So I bring this up to say that you're a realtor, you pay for these services. There is a full staff that's employed by the California State of Realtor that is in position right now they are paid to give us the data. Like if you log in, they have marketing pieces for you. They are here to partner with you. So if you want, so what I would do when I started, I was like, okay, I started in 2011. It was 50% of homes on the market were short sales. How am I going to succeed? That's what I would do. I would log in, wake up early every day, and I would just read the new. They put out every new legal update and everything. Guess what? That gave me confidence. I would talk about random things like, oh, did you know that Code 748 says that now you could force your neighbor to pay half your fence? And people go, oh, like she knows what she's talking
Look at you,
about. Guess what? I was in the game for 3 months, and I started a mastermind with agents. I have 42 agents in the market that were in the game for 20 years. They saw me as an expert because I just put myself in a leadership position, started with masterminds as a peer-to-peer. Yeah. And guess what? But I was getting the knowledge from CAR. I told you guys this before. My friend Ivan Estrada, you guys see me with him sometimes. He's the number one agent of Beverly Hills. We're very good friends. And Ivan Estrada, and he's a great guy. And you know what? I tell him, where do you get he won right now? I mean, he became a DECA millionaire, which means your net worth is $10 million by the age of 36.
Damn.
And you know what he got? He did the real estate minute video. Real estate minute video. All he would do is open the LA Times and see whatever article they said, Gwyneth Paltrow sold her house for $20 million. So he started doing the video. Oh, in Beverly Hills, Gwyneth Paltrow just come see. He got a high school student to follow him around for minimum wage, and then eventually got more. He started doing these videos, so then people that wanted to sell $20 million homes started contacting him himself. Okay, then last year he sold 160.
Speaking of fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it. He did good.
You guys know how much money that is? It's almost $5 million in commissions.
Wow.
Nice.
He's doing a TED Talk. I mean, he wrote a book called Brand With. He's on all the news channels. Why? Because he's doing, you have to understand, do what people are not willing to do. People will overthink it.
Yeah.
This is the kind of market, look what Christina's mindset is. You guys know why I fell in love with her. You guys know what she's one of my girlfriends is. We're like,
Yeah,
we're fighting, right? And it's one of those things because guess what? You have the opportunity, look at her mindset. She said, log into the MLS. And instead of saying, I don't have listings, I don't have buyers, look at the MLS and tell yourself, wow, there's 164 listings just in this city alone that I can bring the buyer to. I have all this inventory to sell. Look at that mindset.
Yep.
There's opportunity after opportunity. So you guys can do it. We believe in you, and we're at you. So just become a local area expert.
It's a lot of information. Any takeaways so far? Come on, guys, this is Mastermind. Look at them notes. It's all looking good, right? Aurora, you guys did better. Not yet. I have a few questions. Okay? I'll let you know. All right, Aurora, so in your presentation, you have data. You provide like for your buyer presentation, you give them data straight up. Would you mind sharing that with people?
Data, like what's going on in the market.
Yeah, like you are
Before I do a consultation, I always kind of like know where they want to be, so I'll address it. If I know that rates is like your thing, I'll address it up front as well. So I just had a consultation yesterday, and I asked him what a comfortable monthly payment was for him. So I said, okay, so if I found you the home that you want, in the area that you want, the payment that you want, do you care what the rate is? And he said no. And I said, okay, well then let's not talk about rates. Like who cares what they are? So and he's like, yeah, that's true. We just moved on. So like I just like to know what their thing is before I get into the consultation, so that I know to address it up front, so they listen to the rest of it.
So you're prepared.
Yeah.
Prepare. You said it.
Your preparation is everything. Knowledge is. You have to have the knowledge. You have to be prepared. And what do they say? And the right place. Momentum. Everything counts.
Yeah.
Opportunity. You got it exactly. There you go. That's where I was going.
Yeah. So here's another question. So how do you guys right now prioritize the people in your pipeline? Right now, who in your pipeline can you prioritize your time to, your energy, your minutes right now in this market to convert them?
Whoever's ready.
Who has like, but how? But how do you do that? How do you kind of prioritize them?
Because they tell you, they're speaking to you, they're letting you know, like she's saying, you have to listen, and she's right. You have to. Every client is different. You cannot go there with a script, because then you just sound like a robot. It doesn't work. They're humans too, and they have other needs. And whatever you're thinking, like you're prepared with a present. You guys don't even want to know what my presentation is. It's me.
Because you've internalized.
I don't bring nothing. I just go like this. Here, give me your listing. No, I'm just kidding. I don't lack confidence. That's for sure. Oh my gosh! So I have to show. I have, speaking of crazy stuff, I went. So check this out. I got up one morning smelling the money, like I say. So I just want to share. I just want to share this with you guys, because this was a thing. This is beautiful. This is like so delicious. Like I'm a chef in the kitchen. I'm like, wow, look at this. I made it. So here's for you guys to taste it. Okay, so I'm out there. So I got up that morning and I said, I want $1 million deals. That's how I'm gonna go to the next level of the money that I want to make, right? So I'm like, okay. So God, and I started doing my mantras, and I says, when I go out there today, I don't know where, I don't know who, but I'm going to meet people, and I'm going to know, I'm going to get that from them. And I'm just going to, and I'm going to interact with them, because this is what I'm looking for today. So that day I wanted to find somebody who wanted to buy and sell a house, but it had to be in the $1 million range. So I wanted to get my eyelashes done. So I got out, I have my beautiful eyelashes, I look so good, right? So I'm going out there, and somebody said, you need to sign something right now, because we're getting ready to sign, do the deal, whatever. And I'm like, Starbucks. Okay, so I ended up at the Starbucks in Winchester, where Sprouts is, to be very specific. Amazing eyelash studios right there. So, So I get out of there looking all cutesy and everything with my little high heels. I'm only 5 feet tall, right? So I'm no threat to nobody. So as I get in there, I notice this couple. And I study psychology because, I mean, come on, it's really fun. And so the lady is sitting up against the wall, and her husband, which I assume it was her husband, was sitting facing her. He got up to get some coffee. And out of everywhere, I'm like, I'm going to sit right here, but I'm going to face her. And we're this close, like that and here, that close. And I'm listening and I'm going like, I have a feeling, you know? So I'm sitting there going like this, acting like I'm not paying attention. I'm not even doing anything because all I want to know is if what I set out to do was going to work that day. And I had a feeling that it was. So they're talking about looking at new homes, and they don't know where the new homes are at and everything. And they're talking about real estate. And I'm like, inside of me, I've got butterflies. I'm like, money. Oh my God, this is my money. So I go, I'm so sorry. You guys are looking for new homes. You know, there's homes here, here, and there. What's your price range? Oh, so. Oh, so I know which ones are coming. They're not on the market yet. They haven't even started building, blah, blah, blah. I started talking to them, and they turn around. And I go, I'm the local expert. They ended up being from LA. I'm going to take their listing for $1.2 million, and they're going to come here and buy a house from me brand new. It hasn't even been built yet. They don't even have the model homes yet for the 700s. I just wanted to share that with you guys because I thought that was amazing. You watch what you say and set it out in motion in secret. Put yourself in places. Don't stay home. Don't stay in the office. Go to Starbucks. Go to a hotel where people have money. Sit by them and just pretend you're working because you are working. You're hunting. You're listening to their conversation. Expose yourself to more places because everybody has a home. Everybody wants to sell and buy. Some people are looking to retire. So just seek out opportunities.
Man. ALC, I'm sorry we're going over on time. Our ALC meeting's at 1, but it's worth it. Yeah. Let's come wrap it up because I do want to end it with her resources, right? The point is to.
Yes, because I got it.
Yeah, so let's help her do that. Let's
Okay, cool.
wrap it up and then and
Okay.
before you guys leave, I need some ahas in here.
You're gonna like this resource.
Okay, I'm
What are
gonna.
some ahas in here? I need 3 before I get up. I'm not gonna get up.
The last one she just said.
What is it?
About the $1 million listing, and she put it out there that this is, she decided it was gonna happen, she felt it, and then just released it.
Yes,
But
stick
she
it out.
didn't actually-
It does work.
That does work. I told our board yesterday that I wanted to sell 4 homes over $1 million this year. Remember?
Okay.
And I am this one too. Yeah.
I want to make one recommendation. If you guys do anything, that this is going to help all of you guys, if you guys are open to it. Buy a book that is about $15. You can find it online or you can find it at Barnes & Nobles. It is called Beyond Positive Thinking by Anthony Roberts.
Oh, did you delete the quote? I was gonna take a picture.
Okay, Beyond Positive Thinking
It's recorded on screen.
by Anthony Roberts or Roberts Anthony, something like it's like kind of weird. And what that book did to me, it took me from making no money to making the money that I'm making now and to making the money that I'm going to make in the future because I already know I'm my self-testimonial that it is possible. So I don't want to put any more big limitations. I'm going for it now. So that's exciting. So I recommend that you read that. What that book does to you, it teaches you the techniques of positive thinking, where it comes from. And it starts you by disarming you. It disarms you from all your beliefs. And it does it in such a tricky little way. The little tricky sucker, he's a great writer. He puts it so simple, it's not complicated. The book is under 400 pages. I never made it to the end because remember me, I learned like immediately. I'm like, I'm going straight for the meat, meat lovers, right? So I went for it and I got to where I want. Until this day, I still practice what's in that book. Wow. And it has changed my life forever. So the sun shines for everyone. It doesn't shine for itself. So I'm here to share that knowledge because this is going to help you. It's impossible, even with as many agents that are in Southern California, that they're going to sell all the millions of homes that are going to be available for all the buyers. So there's money for each and every one of you.
Wow.
Okay.
Sophia, take over, okay? Thank you so
Ya me
much.
siento, ya me-
Thank you.
No, you
I'm
still have
gonna
to-
write-
Okay.
Thank you. So, I'm selling one of my parents' investment homes right now. And, I'm in escrow with a new agent, okay? His name is Jose Feliciano. He calls and gets me to, I accept his offer. And we did the pre-call with Tano, we did everything. And then I call him a week later, and I'm like, hey, what's going on with the transaction? And he said this. He said, I think the home inspection was done yesterday. I said, were you there? And he said, no. I'm like, I said, okay, he said, but don't worry, they're gonna go do a final verification of property condition and a final walkthrough tomorrow. I said, honey, how long have you been licensed? And he said, November. I said, how many homes have you sold? He said, this is my first one. I said, how cute, I'll help you. I'm gonna help you. So then I thought, oh my God, how did he get a transfer? Like, he was just very confident. And he fooled me, y'all. So like, that's not easy to do, okay? So then, but he was so honest and scared, like when I asked him, that I was like, okay, I'm gonna just help you. And I'm like, okay, we're already in escrow. We've only been in escrow a week, and I had 27 offers. So I'm like, I'm just gonna swap them out.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm like, we're just gonna swap him out for someone else. I'm just gonna cancel on him and we'll do something else, because he wrote it as a 30-day escrow. So then I said, okay, let me see if I can make it work with this guy, you know? So I looked and I see that his brokerage owner is somebody I really love and respect. He's a good agent. He owns an excellent San Francisco Rivera. And we've hung out in Vegas and stuff. They're my friends. So I said, okay, he has a good leader. I'm gonna call him. Then I called his lender, and his lender answered on a Saturday. Milagro, Alexis answered on a Saturday. He answered and he said, I said, so what's going on with the loan? He said, oh, nobody told you? He said, nobody told you about this? And then I said, what do you mean? Nobody told you? He said, oh, these clients qualify for a special program. I was like, oh God, here goes a special, what for a special program? He said, and he was very honest. He goes, it doesn't close for 50 days. And I was like, so I said, okay. So then I ended up putting the deal together because the offer, they waived the appraisal contingency. So it still benefits my parents to wait an extra 30 days because they're still pocketing about 30,000 extra. So it's worth it. So I'm keeping it together, but this is what I want you to know. This is what I found out. So I'm going to lean on Susie because when I did it sounded too good to be true. So I scheduled a meeting to vet him out. Just so you guys know, I'm very picky who's in front of you here. I bring only the best of the best. Yes. So yes. You guys know why I love Christina? You guys should see her on a personal level. She's so fun. Like, oh my God, we have so much fun.
Always
But-
experimenting. What will make you look younger?
She's the best. She's the best. But anyway, so this is what the program is. So what happened is that every lending institution has the obligation to lend, to do equal lending, equal fair housing. Yeah, everybody has that obligation. Well, East West Bank is in trouble. East West Bank is the largest bank in the nation. It says it's equivalent as East West Bank. Sorry, I forgot Kanye in here. East West. Hey, I forgot Ye in here. Okay, East West Bank. East West Bank is the largest bank. They're equivalent to Bank of America. They're the largest lender, period. Like, they're a very solid bank. And they're under scrutiny by the government because 97% of their clients are Asian. Does that mean that they only lend? That's a big deal. They will be shut down. Like, they're in big trouble. So what they did is that they hired a Latino to lead nationally an initiative. So they created a loan program. And this loan program doesn't exist anywhere. I called Tano. He knew all about it. He said it's legit. This is a very legit bank. So I'm like, okay, so I did all the research. We met with him. And I know Susie knows the rest of the details. So she'll fill me in wherever I go off from memory. Okay? So this is what it is. Because of this, in this market, I want you to know that in the last 3 months ago, no one would take your offer if you did more than a 30-day escrow, correct? In this market, will they do it if you have a 50-day escrow? No, so I'm gonna teach you how to get your offer accepted at a 30-day escrow and go to 50 days. Okay, got you? Okay, this is what you do. So the bank, they need people that are not Asian to be in compliance with the government. So they have to fund, what is it? For every.
So this program has to produce 10% of what the bank produces.
Yeah, so this program has to produce 10% of the volume. So if they do 1,000, we have to do 100 of these, okay? And this program is really legit. So you get, everyone in this program gets a 4% interest rate, period. 4%. Whether their FICO is 620 or 820, it doesn't matter.
but the down payment program does matter for the different variances. So Susie knows that. The program is a 3% down. Listen to this is real. No closing cost to the buyer.
Let's go buy houses.
Yeah, no, listen, no closing cost to the buyer, no PMI. No, because they need it.
Can they do refis?
And oh, no, they don't. And I would refinance one of my investments right now. No. And no VA. They do not do VA.
So conventional and.
Conventional. There's no. This is not. Listen, this is not a government loan. This is their own money. East West Bank. They need to be compliant. And this program will never, ever, ever go away. It's not a temporary program. The problem is that the guy does not want my business. I said, come to talk to my office. He said he only needed one contact in the Inland Empire, so the lakes, it is. And then, and he needs someone in San Diego, which I connected him with somebody over there already. But because they don't have enough staff, that's what, the only reason it takes 50 days is because they have too many applications. That's the only reason.
But it's a guarantee deal.
It's a guarantee deal.
So is it a full, DU?
No, it's their own loan. It's their own, the documents that I have say for internal use only. We got them.
Okay.
I have all their override guidelines.
You're approved.
You're approved. And listen, this is the good deal. This is how you tell the clients. You get them into a 30-day escrow, and they're going to be punished with a per diem. When you exceed an escrow period, you get charged $150 a day, right, for going over?
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know that. So if you're in a 30-day escrow and you need an extension, if they give it to you, then they're going to penalize you. So what I do is on my offer, I write 30-day escrow with $150 per diem. Because that's how I'm gonna get my offer accepted, because they're gonna be like, damn, they're legit. Like they're gonna close, they're gonna do 150. But the truth is, I'm gonna tell my buyer, you know what? Don't complain if you get penalized $1,500. I just saved you $10,000 in closing costs. Get it? There's no closing costs. 4%, no PMI. Guess what? It's 3% conventional, and the same program exists. Because we think the Latinos in here or Californians, we think that only Latinos need to have I-10s. It's not. It's also Asians and other nationalities. Well, guess what? The same program exists for 5% down I-10.
No way.
I promise you.
Wow.
I promise you.
That should put more than 50,000 a year in your pocket. Way more money.
Girl, we're making $1 million this year.
That's
For sure. No, but that's why. And the thing is that it's not like a secret. It's like a secret program. Like it really is just like for us and our new friend and our friend. No, and our friend. No, I'm telling all my sexy girlfriends about it. But you have to say I-10 is for so I-10 is when you enter the United States in a legal way. In a legal way, I want to say that because I have 2 aunts and uncles that do not have an I-10 because they came in here and behind the trunk of my dad's car. You know what I mean? And it's true, right? But it's I-10, right? And what that is, it's like a temporary social while you're there in the process of getting immigration. They get a valid driver's license. They're tax-paying citizens. You know, Jennifer, yesterday we had an application for one of our rentals, and she's like, "Oh, look, they're I-10 and they have 6 months of rent." I said, "We're gonna lease it to them. Like, they're legit because guess what? If they mess up, they won't get their citizenship. They're like the best clients. They won't get citizenship if they mess up."
Sophia, so we're all gonna get a copy of this?
Yes. Yeah. So listen. His name is Alexis. So this is the most important part you want to understand. They can, if they own a home now, they can rent it out and use this program on their next home.
Wow.
I promise you. If they own a home now, if they own a home now.
And there's
I want our agents to win because then I win, right? We win. So this is a program, and yeah, and there's more. Susie was like she's my person that memorized the program, so we can talk about it. But
she wants me to buy her shoes and then
yeah. Hey. We get facials, you know. Yeah. No, this is really legit, you guys, because they have to meet their guidelines, and remember, it could be the primary home. So this is such a good program that you want to get out to your database. Mm-hmm. Think about how many people do you have in your phone today that would run for this? Everybody will because of the rate.
Yeah. And look at the price. It's crazy.
And the loan limit.
That is in our.
Oh, and the best part is, hold on. Hey.
There's more.
55% DTI. So let me explain this to you. If one of your buyers right now is approved for 500, 450, man, it's tough to get them in, yeah? 450. But guess what? Now the rate's 4%. Now the DTI is 55. Now you can bring them to 525 for the same payment. There's no PMI. So now their purchasing power goes up.
You can push the limits. That's
I have the number. I just call and I say.
Alright, Christina.
Just say you're with Sophia KW the Lakes.
Wait,
No.
one more caveat though. He did ask that we pre-screen the client.
Yes, what he doesn't want is that all the newbies in here to go, oh, I met a buyer here. He's not gonna do the legwork. He don't have time. He doesn't want my deals. He doesn't want my leads. He doesn't want my deals. Collect everything, do the footwork for him, make sure, if you're new and don't know, we'll help you with that.
I got a question.
Yeah, do the, I will do all the.
How I secure my deals by doing that now.
I already, we've already do it like that anyways. Me too, I do it anyways, because I was a lender, I was a top 0.5% lender in the nation for 9 years. So like, I do lending anyway, so to me, I do that already. But the point is this, he's not gonna waste his time, so I package. So if this is not the kind of client that you can say, call Rosa at this number. He's not gonna call it. This is the kind of deal where we basically have to ask him for the favor to do the loan first.
So you package the deal. You become.
Yes.
Does ethnicity come into play?
No, it doesn't, but they can't, you can't, I mean, ethnicity doesn't, I don't know, I mean, they can't decline your Asian clients if they apply. They can't, but they're trying to make no mistake, it's called the Diversity and Inclusion Internal Program. It's for diversity. It doesn't, but they have to prove that they're making something.
Otherwise they're in trouble, so that's why they're giving all of this. So
Yes.
basically, because there's nothing like that out there.
It doesn't exist. I've been in the game for 21 years. Nothing exists.
You make as much money, just put it out in the universe, because you go bust the list.
We
I'm
bust
so
it.
excited for you guys. You guys will make
And
money.
for us.
Not just you guys.
for us. Are you excited for us?
Yeah, for sure.
You guys?
There is a loan limit 647 for our county.
Yes.
And send him all your people that you've gotten pre-qualified already. I sent him emails like, hey, these are.
647 for our county.
Clients.
You guys, Inland Empire, could you get something for 647? The market's correcting 647.
It is correct.
That's the loan limit. And then there's also there's more.
There's more. Oh my God.
You guys, those of you that are not excited because you guys don't even know. But the people that have been in the game,
Cool. This is like.
you guys have no idea. Are you Jose?
Jose,
Are you drooling? Like this is like.
Oh, this is beyond, right? Now you're like, oh.
The newbies are like whatever, but like we're like you have no idea. Like
But one would need to be a 622?
yes,
Okay, so both of them have to be.
minimum 620.
Minimum.
That's
Aurora, we're crushing our goals.
In my command, a bunch of I-10 tags.
Wow.
I knew something had to come at some point.
Yeah, me too. I did radio advertising.
I-10s, it's like a 25% minimum down.
And I-10 is always 3% more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
okay, so Susie, come up here, please, because she actually knows the program better than me. So this is how I'm a big thinker. So what I did is, I have something else to share with you. So I found a VA. So this is what I'm doing, okay? Because I have a database of 9,000 people. I used to advertise on Spanish radio, so I have about 300 people in my database that have I-10. Okay, so they're tagged also. So the thing is, I'm like, so this morning I had a meeting with a guy. I have a contact in Nogales, Mexico. He's a legit, fluent English-speaking native virtual assistant at $7.50 an hour that are ISAs or whatever you want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hire someone to call all my 9,000 leads to drum a business, because I really don't have the time to do it. But I will pay I'll pay $10 an hour. They said if you want more skills, $10. I'm like, I'll pay $10. That's how much is that? That's $400 a week. How much is that? 52 weeks a year. What is that? Like, who cares? That's 10 grand a year. Will this give you more than 10 grand?
Oh, hell yeah.
So you guys see, you have to be. I'll invest what it is. So this doesn't exist. So what I told Christina when we meet up intentionally, continuous, frequently. And I took her to dinner like a month ago, and I told her, you have such a gift of speaking. And I said, you need to be in front of audiences. And she goes like, I should do that. I said, well, I'm gonna put you in front of your first audience. So she yeah. So I'll give you more. Yeah. So ALC, you guys have.
30 minutes late to our meeting, please.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. ALC, go, and then ALC, come see me after for more details, okay? I'll email you all this. Okay, because it's on, yes? It's so on. You have no idea. You have to go, yeah, you have to go. All right, you guys, so let's give a round of applause to Christina. If you guys want a picture with her autograph,